Hello, hi, and welcome to my channel. So, apparently, the moon is in Leo, according to my quote unquote lesser trustworthy astrology app, aka not my main astrology app. The moon is in Leo, but I was curious about the post 8A slash nearing the end of Lionsgate energies, and I don't know what deck I'm gonna read with. Hopefully, this video is not longer than 45 minutes. I guess I can make it so. So I'm not sure what deck to use, so I'm gonna use my handy dandy virtual assistant. I use Bixby. I haven't used Bixby in a minute. Hey Bixby, choose a number between 1 and 6. Did y'all hear that? Bixby said 3. So that's the third drawer. I might use the Osho's in Tarot. If the Osho's in is in this drawer, I'll use it. I think it's supposed to be, but it's not. I had the Tarot Apocalypsis, the Vice Versa Tarot, the In Between Tarot, and then the Offset. I have an Offset Tarot that I've used it, but I don't really use it. I could go for, I haven't used the In Between Tarot in a minute. Hey Google, choose a number between 1 and 4. 1. I didn't count these. But I think 1 and 2 were in the back. So I'm pretty sure that's this one, which is my Tarot Apocalypsis. Which may be fitting. I guess we'll see. We'll find out. Oh, I'm a little sleepy. Should have just went to sleep. See, I don't know. I felt like showing you the cards today. Oh, oh, okay. Oh, hold up. Maybe I should like wipe this down a little bit. That card was sliding off and out. I don't even know if y'all saw it. Okay. Six of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Princess of Pentacles, Four of Swords. And this card is the High Priestess. She came out in reverse. Is this Persephone? I believe so. High Priestess in reverse. I'll take her in reverse. I feel like maybe I'll do a few quick messages. Because I feel like this is pretty straightforward, even though this isn't necessarily head on. I could connect my. See, the last time I had 2 cameras connected. So, with the High Priestess in reverse, it feels like whatever that was to be communicated has been. Whatever was to be revealed has been revealed. With the Four of Swords and the Princess of Pentacles, there's an implied energy here of whatever work that was supposed to be done during the height of that 8-8 Lionsgate has been accomplished. Now it's just like sitting back and waiting for the seeds to start sprouting. Now, what's interesting is the princess is pregnant. And because the high priestess is here, It is low key given a little like mother maiden crone, but the maiden is becoming a mother. The crone is here. Um, but besides that, yeah, it's just, did I show y'all the cards? There's the four. There we go. Four of Swords and the Princess of Pentacles. There's that wolf. There was a wolf. Um, there was a wolf with the sage and a wolf on the faith card. Where that book? Where that book? Where the book? I'm just curious who's on this Princess of Pentacles. I was gonna venture a guess, but Prithvi, goddess of the earth, fertility and nourishment. It is a firm foundation that Prithvi appears in Indian Buddhism, being the first goddess to appear in Buddhist writing around the 3rd century CE. She was present at the moment when Shakyamuni Buddha attained enlightenment, and therefore at the moment the tradition of Buddhism began. Furthermore, Prithvi was depicted as providing and supporting the seat upon which the Buddha achieved enlightenment, reminding us that the Princess of Pentacles is the throne upon which the material world sits. She therefore supports and nourishes both the mundane and spiritual worlds in which we move. So, yeah, yeah, especially after the prophecies. So, yeah, she's associated with helping the first Buddha, question mark. I literally just read it and probably got it wrong. Uh, Helping him find enlightenment. And then again, the high priestess is here in reverse with that energy of message received, whatever communicated. And then the Four of Swords is here. And the Four of Swords, it's just, again, because she's at rest and because the high priestess is in reverse, it feels like everything that needed to be done or accomplished has been. So, if this is a fruit of your labors type of energy, and it's associated with an enlightenment, so that is a little bit different, but it did mention also moving in the physical and spiritual worlds. Seven of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Six of Swords came out. Ooh. Six of Cups was at the bottom of the deck before. So the Six of Swords, especially with that, moving on, sailing on the calmer waters type energy, partnered and paired here again with the Four of Swords. These are probably the best two swords cards to get. And they both came out. I remember, is she pregnant? Don't it look like she got a little baby bump? This is almost like this is Prithvi in the physical, or this is Prithvi in her, like if we were to see her where she is, she would appear as this. but she appears as this on this side of the veil. It's almost like that's her in spirit form, and that's why it's like blue. Her in her energetic form. I feel like I don't often get like, we don't have to do anything. You don't have to do nothing. Just whatever type energy. But that's what it's looking like. And maybe it's all about positioning. Maybe your intuition, discernment told you to do certain things or led you and guided you towards certain places, and now all you have to do is like wait. It's like you've done or like you continue doing what you're doing your part. It feels like the rest is up to like alignment. Like something or someone else will get their cue and then things will keep moving. With the Seven of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, this Seven of Pentacles, it makes me think of a Ten of Wands, but instead of the individual carrying, it makes me think of the Ten of Wands in the burdened one in the SKT. I'll look before and after the Ten of Wands in the SKT. Why not? Why not? Wait, it might only be in the Vitruvian edition. I mean, it might only be in the Revelations edition. I don't think. I'll look and see. I'm not going to take it if it doesn't have the Beast of Burden on it. Because that card in particular, it's like the person isn't using the Beast of Burden. But in this one, they are. Yep, it is in this one too. Oh, look, the World and the Ivory Shield. The Ivory Shield again, specifically in this deck, extra specifically in this version. Oh, snap. Hold up. Eight of Swords, Eight of Orbs, the World. I didn't even see that Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of Life there. The Tower, Archangel of Healing, the Demon, the Healer, the Reaper, the Erudite. These in particular are interesting. What was I saying? I don't even remember. Whew, 13 minutes. This might actually work. Oh, I was talking about her. Because in this deck in particular, she's my proceed at thine own caution. Look at the string of majors. But there's like so many on this side. It's fine, I'll show you. Oh wow, you can still see that stuff here. Okay. These three lead up here. It was like this. You can't see these down here. Oh, I'm so tired. Maybe that's why I was called, led, or guided to use the table camera today so you can see the Lord Ganesh wood burning. Because his pantheon is coming out. Prithvi. I'll put these here. And then these right here. Just so everything can, even if you can't like read it, they'll sort of be more in frame. So the Ivory Shield in this deck in particular is my Proceed with Caution card. For me, when I'm reading something, she actually came out in reverse. And what was that, Prophecy 2? When I was talking about, because I had the thought of like Malkuth going into the void instead of being at the bottom of the Kabbalah tree of life. And I was like, if that's it, somebody will catch it or resonate. Like, it's one of those. And then she came out in reverse. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll share it. There's something that she protects. And the string of cards leading up to her is interesting. It's the erudite, which is the hermit, the reaper, which is death, the healer, which is star, the demon, which is the devil, the archangel of healing that sits in the place of the king of cups, the tower, which is the tower, and the ivory shield, which is the queen of cups. It's the ivory shield that is the shield of the archangel of healing. So the one that lies beyond her has come out. The tower sits in between them. And this deck in particular, oh, look at this. Look at this. Excuse me. Material and spiritual colliding. And it talked about Prithvi sitting in between the material and spiritual worlds. Also, we had the energy of like, this is how she manifests in the material world while she's occupying the spiritual world. Also, in this tower card, we have the axe of Shiva that removes corruption. The corruptor is actually, I should have grabbed it. It was on the other side of the captor. I probably won't be able to find it now. But it was there. There it is. And then the eminence, 9 of orbs, 9 of scepters, melees. I can't remember what the angel is. Oh, it's the angel instead of temperance. So now the corruptor is here. The axe of Shiva that removes corruption. So again, we have the pantheon. The pantheon is coming in strong. It's also interesting that again, so we have both the healer and the archangel of healing and the tower that holds that axe of Shiva. The demon is here, but there's also the erudite and the reaper. Like there's a lot of energies of like death and rebirth, deep healing, and this hermit. Maybe I'll actually try to do something with my setup so you can see like all of this. Well, I'll work for the next 3 days, so maybe after that. Woo, I don't know. We'll see. Um, just to have so y'all can see the whole thing. So this is why you can see in the burdened one that there are the beasts of burden in the back, but still the individual tries to carry all 10 wands by themselves. That's what made me think of this. In the Seven of Pentacles, they're actually using the beast of burden to carry those. And it brings forward an Ace of Pentacles energy. And then there's the Ace of Swords. Oh, and the Devil. And the Star. We get the Devil and the Star energies again. And the Nine of Swords. The All Gifted. Okay. No, I'm done. The Ten of Pentacles is here. Speaking of the Void. It's the Void and the Prince of Pentacles is behind this Ten of Pentacles. Prince and Princess of Pentacles. And then there's the Eight of Swords. Okay. Because the Captor is here, and then the Three of Swords is under that Eight of Swords. The Captor is right here. Okay. So yeah, that's why I went looking before and after. This came out. The Burden one came out. Saturn and Sagittarius, because it was that message of, while in the space of Sagittarius, in the space of like the spaces where we'd rather have fun and be lighthearted and playful and not take things too seriously and experience great expansion and happiness, and also maybe travel, expand, explore, like outside of our usual, I want to say haunts, but do we haunt places? Imagine like beings on like spiritual beings, like ghosts that aren't attached to specific places, or just like energies that aren't attached to a specific place. And then it's like the places that we go to semi regularly, like on the other side, on their side, they're like, oh, they're here again. I don't know. So the Ace of Swords was under the Seven of Pentacles, and the Devil was under that. This carries an energy of like asking for help. Because again, because the Seven of Pentacles is leading me to the Ten of Pentacles energy, like when it was Devil energy, like maybe we were too proud or too ashamed or too this or too that to ask for help, to actually utilize the things that were put in our lives to help us. And it's like both it's almost like in utilizing the resources or in relying on people, there's something that we learn and something that we gain in terms of like trustworthiness, dependability, and the strengthening of relationship. But it also feels like with those freed up resources, we have the capacity to be more engaged in our life in a way, to see things that we would typically miss because we were so busy. It's almost like in the free time, it almost feels natural. So it's like in the absence of being overwhelmed, overburdened, stressed, and stuff like that, there are things that we naturally notice or things that naturally come to mind. Hey, Kirsty, how you doing? And then under that is the Star. So again, just like we have the healer and the demon literally right next to each other, the Devil and the Star right here, we have it again here. So I was like, oh my gosh. And then we have the Nine of Swords. I took the Nine of Swords because the Nine of Swords, the Hunt, came out before this 10 of. Did I show y'all? I didn't even show y'all the cards. So it's the Empress on one side, the Burden one, and the Haunt on the other. Nine of Swords, Ten of Wands, the Empress. So it's Mars and Gemini opposing Saturn and Sagittarius, and then we have Venus just floating out here. Mars and Gemini is interesting because it feels like it can work both ways. It works both with and for, with/for, and against. It's almost like a conflict that exists within the self at some point. Also, what's interesting is that here's our mother. Before we had the maiden becoming the mother, because the pregnant ladies, so yeah, the Ten of Wands, the Burden one came out. Hey, glad to hear it. I had a thought today. Well, I've been having a thought on my mind for some time about some stuff. So, you know, maybe someday I'll live a lot closer. Maybe not. Well, we'll see. I think I am gonna steer my life in that direction, though. At least as of now. I'm entertaining it a lot more here recently. So now it's like, how can I best utilize my time here? Or how can I best position myself to make that move? Make that move right now, baby. You only go up once in a lifetime. So anyway, we'll see. I would love it. I mean, anyway, back to this. So the Burden one came out because Saturn and Sagittarius is like, while we'd rather be doing anything but learning whatever was being presented to us to learn, it would be very wise of us to go ahead and learn it while it's being coming to the surface to be taught. Or it would be wise of us to do whatever Saturn was asking us to do, because after that was Sun in Capricorn. And Sun in Capricorn was like, depending on what you did during Sagittarius, it will be seen. If you didn't do the work, it will be seen very plainly. If you did, it will be seen very plainly. We also have Saturn right next to Jupiter here. New World Order next to the Wheel of Fortune. And then Sun in Virgo, Jupiter in Gemini, Venus in Scorpio. Excuse me. So back to these. Our Nine of Swords and then the All Gifted. The All Gifted is Pandora in this deck, and she's holding her box. It's also this portal. You see all the butterflies symbolizing transformation and growth and evolution. There's also, I've never noticed that hourglass right there. Like sands through the hourglass. I don't know if it's stopped or not, though. Like it's a space in which time does not exist. I'm trying to as you can, there you go. Trying to put this card up where you can see it. And then it's the Ten of Pentacles and our Prince of Pentacles. We have the Princess of Pentacles up here. And then under the Prince of Pentacles was the Eight of Swords, and I took the Eight of Swords because the Eight of Swords is here. Now, what's interesting is the Eight of Swords and the Devil almost, they look very similar to me. There you go. So maybe by the end of it, the Devil will be in the Eight of Swords energy. And the Eight of Swords in this deck is bound very tightly and not blindfolded at all. So usually with the Eight of Swords, it's like mental entrapment because the blindfold is there and it's like the ropes are loose enough and the person doesn't have to be stuck in the middle of these eight swords, you know. But this one is very much so like, you know, seemingly stuck. There's three swords here, two swords up here. We have from the Ace of Swords, these two crows. So, and maybe it's because of the all gifted, it's like this all gifted Ten of Pentacles, Prince of Pentacles. It's like we enter a space that this devil energy can't exist in. So this Nine of Swords is almost feeling like an exorcism now. And you can see like the swords are like, the swords got this one, so that one is about to be executed, looks like. And then that one is also being like impaled by swords. What's interesting is like it's coming through as swords energy, which is more like a knowing. I don't know what else it would come out as, or what else I would like, because I would typically expect to see maybe like cups, something like faith or belief. But a strong enough faith is a swords energy. You know, when you got faith that strong, it's no different than a knowing. So we have all this major arcana energy up here. Like it honestly feels like the world is changing, or one's experience in the world is changing. And then down here, the New World Order, Wheel of Life, the Journeyman, the Captor, the Corruptor. It feels like it's coming in here. The Journeyman is a card of attaining mastery. There is this last great work that the Journeyman is working on. It could be really attaining enlightenment because, you know, it's very on brand for the energy, especially with the High Priestess in reverse. So this is that, I guess, enlightenment, reaching that enlightenment. And this is the last and final hurdle before the, I almost wanted to say Page of Wands, but before this character takes the orb in the living wand. And then that's what like changes or moves forward the wheel of life and puts her in a new world order. After that, enlightenment is achieved. But to get there, one has to go through the corruptor and the captor. The corruptor is like in this deck specifically, each cup is related to one of the seven deadly sins. So there is no right choice here. And so it's almost like making the best of a bad situation, or almost like a lesser of evil's energy. But because the captor is also here, it feels like there are more options than just the ones that are seen. Now this captor is blindfolded and tied up and stuff like that. And you can see the bleeding swords, even though the swords don't pierce the captor. Now, where's the angel? Because I saw it. I think it was after the erudite. No, it's right there. So nine of pentacles, nine of wands, and then the angel, and then the lovers, and the apocalypse. So in here you see um, this is the captive freed. You can see the ropes that have been cut and everything. But it's also interesting, and then there's the Ankh that the Empress is typically holding with that Venusian energy. Also, it's the Four of Swords that's here, because in the Four of Swords, which is pretty close, it's not too far away. There it is. Four of Swords, Five of Swords, Nine of Cups, Six of Cups. There's the Six of Cups that was at the bottom of the deck, and then Apocalypse, the Lovers, and the Angel. And the Four of Swords, you can see the angel in the window. But this angel in the window doesn't have any of those ropes on her. And the Four of Swords is here. What is that? What is that emoji? I don't know. Those, I love that though. I wish I could. "37 minutes." Maybe, but that was the thing, wasn't it? That was the Ace of Swords with the devil. It's like when we use that beast of burden, it's like while we're trying to bear and handle everything ourselves, and when we overburden ourselves, it's like we become mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically exhausted and very short sighted in that exhaustion. But when that exhaustion is alleviated, it's like a good night's sleep. It's like if you're working on a creative project and you step away from it, and then all of a sudden you get like a breakthrough. It's like that type of energy. There's something with this Ace of Swords that comes into one's knowing, and it feels like that's what reveals the options. Yeah, because then the journeyman is here. Duh. So that's what reveals the options that the captor can't see. So instead of making the best choice out of all of these terrible options, it has enough space. It's rejuvenated, rested enough to think of, to see, to consider the thing that it never saw before. And that's the thing that helps it complete this seventh labor and attain that enlightenment or that mastery. And it's interesting that because the Four of Swords is here. You know what? I'm gonna grab the other SKT and I'm gonna pull before and after the Four of Swords because it's like now we're ready to receive the healing of that angel. And the Archangel of Healing is right here. The Four of Swords is the convalescent, which is all about healing and recovery. Let's see, who am I looking for? Four of Swords, the convalescent. There's the Four of Orbs. Here's the burden one. So really quick, we have the Five of Pentacles. No, the Six of Pentacles. The Giver, the burdened one, and the politic, Three of Wands. And then there's the Empress after the Three of Wands. So she's still pretty close to that. Oh, look. And then, okay, well, there's our Four of Swords. Right there, not too far from that Ten of Wands again. The Empress, the Convalescent, Apocalypse. And then the Kindred is there, which is the Three of Wands. Three of Wands, Three of Cups. The Three of Wands has the three Emperors and the three masculines coming together. The Three of Cups has the three Empresses and three feminines coming together. And then there's the Wheel of Life, which we've seen, and then the Blind Seer, the Two of Swords. So, yeah. Cool. Interesting. I love how, like, self-referential this is. So there's our Empress again. Now the Empress is the nurturer. The Empress is the vessel, the receiver. It's interesting that in the Vitruvian edition, the swan is front and center, but I don't know if this is an ibis or a pelican that's like sort of hidden behind the reeds in the Revelations edition. It's like as the Empress steps forward, the bird moves to the back. And so I don't know if the bird would be like a messenger type energy for the Empress. And so when, like, if the Empress approaches you herself, she doesn't need to send a messenger. Like, you know what I mean? And then we have Apocalypse here. Apocalypse was not too far out from one of these. Where was it? Oh, it's right there after the Lovers. So it was the Four of Swords, Five of Swords, Nine of Cups, Six of Cups, Apocalypse, the Lovers. Apocalypse is in between the Six of Cups and the Lovers. So, and then there's the Angel on the other side of that Lovers. So, like, it's a good apocalyptic energy. It's a good tower. It's a good death. But it feels like it's just so drastically different than everything that existed before. But again, it's like maybe it's because the energy, like devil energy, was so heavy before. And it feels like it's being purged and removed. It's like not only is devil energy being purged and removed, but all of the like the roots and the tendrils of it are also being like pulled up. I'm at 43 minutes. I think that's it. I was trying to be done by 4 minutes from now so I can go to bed. Because I gotta get up and go to work tomorrow. Or today, I guess. Anyway, tonight, this evening, in 12 hours, no, 10 hours. So yeah, this post Lionsgate / nearing the end of Lionsgate energy it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. The energy of enlightenment is all over this. And I don't know if I have anything else to necessarily add to it. Yeah. So I'm gonna get final cards from all of the decks that I used. I'm gonna shuffle them up. Oh yeah. Always Use your intuition, guidance, discernment, knowledge, wisdom, stuff like that. It will reveal more and tell you more than I ever can, could, or will. Excuse me. SKTV/SKT2. I know there are still cards on the table. I don't like getting final cards when there's still cards on the table. The Initiate. Interesting. Interesting. High Priestess said, congratulations. Breaking language barriers and everything. She said, you got it. No, that was it. You're like, what? I suck at charades. What do you mean I got it right? If you come to my birthday party, Lord, that would be the best. So on an airplane, Lola flew. Is someone going from Lima to Honolulu? Lola from Lima. All right. 47.50. Oof, 8 o'clock. Oof, it's fine. My drink is drunken. Bottom of the deck is the Hierophant. Speaking of enlightenment, wait. And then we have the Fool with the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is Hathor, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure she is Hathor. I was like, that'd be mad interesting if it was King of Wands. She is also the force that carries energy and power upwards towards completion, just as heat rises. And in this aspect, Isis is represented as helping the soul of the dead king rise up to the stars and rise out of the underworld into the afterlife, like Osiris on his boat. That's the Princess of Wands. There's the King of Wands. Here is our Queen of Wands, Hathor, goddess of joy, being inebriated and enchantment. I'm too tired. I can't even try. Hathor had many names and epithets, just as the Queen of Wands has many faces. She was called Lady of the House of Jubilation, the one who fills the sanctuary with joy, Lady of Dance, Golden One, and Lady of Heaven. One hymn from the 5th crypt of the Temple of Dendera, the center of Hathor's cult in later periods, calls upon her in terms of celebration as Mistress of Harp Playing, Mistress of Leaping, Lady of Music, and Lady of Unending Drunkenness. The blue lotus flowers that bloom at the feet of the Queen of Wands were sacred in ancient Egypt. They close up at night and reopen in the morning to take in the sun. So they were seen as symbolic of the sun's descent into the underworld at night and rebirth from the body of Nut in the morning. They were also the more strongly perfumed of the two types of lotuses native to ancient Egypt. The blue lotus is actually a water lily, but called a lotus in ancient Egypt. And songs were sung for the lotus at parties and social gatherings. This flower reminds us of the optimism of the Queen of Wands, who opens to the light but turns away from darkness. It also represents her all-pervading beauty and enchantment. And then the Fool is here as well. Well, we get dragonflies on the, or at least one dragonfly. Who is this? The magician is behind the Hierophant, of course. It was like the edge of the card was there. So I was like, every time I pull this deck, I think of the magician. The Queen of Wands is the magical queen. The Queen of Wands is the one that can grow sunflowers in the middle of the desert. Let's look at the Fool. The Fool. Excuse me. The all-gifted Pandora. The Mevlavi Sufi Sama ceremony. Oh, girl, are these pages stuck together? Together. Okay. Although the result of Sama outwardly appears to be full of life, the clothing of the dervishes is symbolic of death. The white gown is a death shroud. I don't know how to hold these cards. The white gown is a death shroud. A black cloak thrown off at the start of the ceremony represents the concerns of the world in the grave, and the tall hat represents the tombstone that will stand at the head of all one day. This death symbolism acts as a reminder of the final purpose of Sama. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And the highest meaning of the Fool, self-annihilation. The removal of all concepts of self, I, and boundaries. The state of mind and heart of the Mevlevi Sufi, who has achieved its highest goal, remains the same before, during, and after the session. There are no longer any boundaries between the mystic and Allah, divine unity. It is for this reason that the Sufi masters write, "Rose and mirror and sun and moon, where are they? Wherever we looked, there was always thy face." The annihilation of the self in the Sufi Sama and in the Fool does not come from a belief that the self is worthless. It is only the notion of the self as separate and removed from the divine that is destroyed, as it is an impediment to unity with God. Rumi writes of this in a poem in which the friend welcomes a guest to his door. A certain person came to the friend's door and knocked. "Who's there?" "It's me." The friend answered, "Go away. There's no place for raw meat at this table." Sorry. The individual went wandering for a year. Nothing but the fire of separation can change hypocrisy and ego. The person returned completely cooked, walked up and down in front of the friend's house, gently knocked. "Who is it?" "You. Please come in, myself. There's no place in this house for two." So it's the removal of separation in between the self and the all. It's a kind of ego death. Oof, I don't know about that one. But it is this, I guess it's this feeling of like, as one gets closer to the all, as one attains or achieves that enlightenment, then there are things that one can do, I guess. I think the Hierophant and the Magician, it's like it's the things that go beyond teaching. And the Hierophant is like the mediator to the divine, the mouthpiece of the divine, the translator. The Hierophant is the translator of the divine. And it is for us at some point to basically develop a relationship to the point where we can seek and commune with the divine ourselves. And in doing so, all kinds of stuff becomes possible. And, you know, that's what the Sufi Sama, the whirling dervish, and that Queen of Wands is, because the Queen of Wands, it's like the Fool and the Queen of Wands is like it's the beginning of those sparks of magic that the Queen of Wands has, that again can grow sunflowers in the middle of the desert, in areas and spaces where there is nothing, where there is void, where there is desolation. Around the Queen of Wands exists life, and it radiates from her. Ooh, I'll take it. And we will keep it. Oh, snap. Hold it. The Haunt, Nine of Swords in reverse. The Sun upright. I guess that was the only card in reverse. I don't know, because this deck is all upright. But we'll take it in reverse. I ain't got to put it upright. I think there's something very... Oh, look, there's the healer again. I think there's something very bold and brazen about this energy, because it's the warrior. So I don't know if there's something in this Nine of Swords that would typically see us like play small or try to be like invisible or hidden or not to this or not to that. The Queen of Wands is also not one to necessarily be too shy. And the Queen of Wands is probably definitely one of the ones that isn't going to like diminish herself in order to be more whatever. Ain't no room at her table for raw meat. I think there's also something too here about being rather than wishing to be. There's also something here about like, it's an energy that shows up regardless, but also the Queen of Wands mentioned the sun. It's like the sun goes into the underworld at night and then is reborn from Newt in the morning. And that rebirth is it's carrying through here. And then there's the healer. Now last time, there was a star that came. The star that came out in Prophecy 1 wasn't pouring no water. The Haunt, Nine of Swords in reverse. Oh, it was this card. This is the card that had the Anwilla at the keystone of the archway. Willpower. I think there's also something to be said too about like not like, because the warrior at the bottom of the deck, this is the one that does something. regardless. Like it's almost like strength. It's very brave and very courageous because the warrior acts, even if she's not sure, certain, even if she's scared or afraid or whatever, she acts. She doesn't allow herself to like overanalyze and dream up and imagine in anxiety like 15 million different ways that something can go wrong to the point that she doesn't do anything. She moves regardless. And in doing so, there's much more that she discovers for herself. They say comparison is the thief of joy. I say anxiety is. There are many thieves of joy. Comparison is one of them, for sure. The mind can lead to many others. All right, Vitruvian SKT, SKT2. Ooh, we get a message. Hold up. Oh, no, y'all from two different places. So there's the ivory shield again with the stronghold of the flame. Herald of the awakening is the stronghold of the flame. And then the power and authority of water is the ivory shield. So, Herald of the Flame's message is the conservator, Sun in Capricorn. This is the card that came up with the burdened one, Saturn in Sagittarius. And it's like when the sun goes into Capricorn, all will be revealed. Isis is the page. Isis is the princess of wands. I read a little bit of her entry when I was looking for the queen of wands. What's at the bottom of the deck? Oh my God, what is this? The Ace of Swords, Sacred Cinnabar. Ace of Swords is the consummating. The Herald of the Awakening is bringing forward the conservator. There's something about, it's almost like there's something that's gated by, it's almost gated by a knowledge. Like it's, I'm over. I should just end this. I was supposed to be in the bed 16 minutes ago. Maybe that's what it is. This is interesting. This one almost feels like a departure from the others. So it's like there's something that's blocked in the element of water. And so we seek entry through the element of fire. But the message of that element of fire is this conservator. So it's like it's still a no. It's like if you ask one parent for something and they give you an answer that you don't like, and so you go and you ask the other parent. This isn't even necessarily like, well, what did parent one say? It's like they both give the same answer. They both say no. Because like with this Ace of Swords, it feels like it's something that's like gated by knowledge. Maybe that's like the your sword and the Archangel Commander. I'm not going to go through it now, but if y'all have watched me before, there's a chance that you know the story of the Archangel Commander in this deck. And like Archangel Michael, basically, long story short, we pray to Archangel Michael to get something done or whatever, and we have to do it on our own. And in us doing it on our own, there's something that we learn or discover within ourselves or about ourselves. And then Archangel Michael helps us to hone that, develop that, take it farther. So this is almost come off. Yeah, see, there's the Eight of Swords right behind it. There's the capture. Um, so yeah, this Ivory Shield she ain't letting up. Last card syndrome sucks. Y'all ain't seen me this whole video. It's fine. You've seen my hands. Um, yeah, it's just I don't know. There's no other way to. And it's the Herald of the Awakening. Maybe this is like it meets that poem. Like this is like there's no room for raw meat at the table here, so go out and live life and be cooked a little bit and come back when you're well done. Or it's like it's something that's revealed in the physical mundane day to day. Okay, sure. Do I want to leave it like that? It's fine. See, I was just gonna like leave it like that. See, the cards don't even want to shuffle now. They're like, excuse me. No, thank you. The Ace of Cups is the spiritual dissolution tank in this deck in particular. And it came out, I'm pretty sure, in the same series of cards that the Archangel Commander came out in when it revealed that. It's the title card and the moon. So that's the message. I tried to potentially get something else, but the title card is my live life and find out card. And it's my live life and find out card because if we know too much too soon, it's not enough. And it's like it's this space where we think we know a lot more than we actually know, and so we go out and we make choices and decisions, and we do this and we do that, and we think or believe whatever we think or believe without all of the knowledge and all of the information. And it's my live life card because it's like in time something will be revealed. We will learn, we will grow, we will see, witness, or experience something that will give us the context that we need to properly interpret the information. But before that, it's like we don't know what we don't know. And so it becomes very, very, very easy for us to take something the wrong way and to go left where we should have gone right. Because it's like if you live in a country like the US, you ain't got to live in the US, but the US is a country that is made up of states. And there are some city names that exist in multiple states. Like you can find the same city name in like 5 to 10 states. And so it's like, you get one city name and it's in the state that you live in, and that's the only state that has that city. And so you go to that city and you're standing there waiting for like 10 years, and you're like, I'm in this place where I'm supposed to be. Like, what's happening? But if you would have stayed where you were, if you would have lived life there, you would have met someone from that city from a different state. And then you would have known, like, oh, that city exists in more than one state. So maybe that state is the one that I'm supposed to go to, since this person falls into the synchronicity in whatever way. Or because I met this person, I'm supposed to do more research. I'm supposed to wait until it unfolds and reveals itself more to know which state I want to go to. And so with the title card, instead of saying anything, the title card is, I guess, similar to the Ivory Shield in this deck in that way. Instead of saying anything, the advice is to live life and find out. Because even if we were to know right now, we would get it wrong. And it came out with the moon. The moon is a card of things aren't necessarily as they appear to be, because there's so much that is unknown in the situation. We know as much as the moon is full. And even on a full moon, it pales in comparison to the sun on the cloudiest of days. So, yeah. Basically, again, live life. I knew I wouldn't be able to get around it if I wasn't supposed to. So that's why I tried anyway. Hey, at least it wasn't worse. So thank you, Kirsty, for being here. That was the post slash. I'll put the title in right now. Post slash. What's like the word for completing, closing out, concluding. Lions. Oof. See, there are certain things that I avoid because I don't want my videos to pop up in people's chat. Maybe I should get over it. Post slash concluding 8-8 energies. That's what I'm going to title it. Boom. I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey, and way you find, I hope that whatever you've needed to do, you've done to see, witness, experience all that is for you to experience. Because the cards say it's gorgeous. So I hope it's gorgeous. And yeah, it was nice spending time with you too. I feel like one of these days I should just like chat, and not necessarily pull cards or only come on to pull cards. But sometimes I feel like I forgot how to do that. Like back in the day, sometimes I could just like click go live and then folks would show up and we would just talk about whatever. But for a hot minute, it's been like, I'm gonna get on here and pull some cards for hours and then log off and do it again the next day. But the reason why I did this today was because I saw 8-8 today. So full clarity, honesty, whatever. So literally on 8-8, I was given an opportunity / an opportunity was brought to my awareness. And I was told that it's mine if I want it. After many days of hesitation and contemplation, that opportunity is no longer available. I was like, wow. Not to say that there won't be other opportunities, because there will be. And the thing that I thought could happen, it happened. It just didn't happen for me. But I was banking on, this is that live life and find out energy also at the same time. So it's like, did I miss out? Kinda. I mean, not really, because there are like opportunities always pop up. but there was a certain thing, there was a certain sequence of possibility that was my way of feeling okay with accepting that opportunity. And I found out today that it was a very valid pathway, because that pathway was taken. Um, but because that pathway was taken, that means that the individual wouldn't have been there for me. Basically, like, one of my coworkers got hired into, like, the 4 days that I don't work, they got hired into that slot. So because they got hired into that slot, they wouldn't have been hired into my slot, and then I would have felt bad. So I didn't know what somebody else was planning on doing at the same time. And so it would have created a void, or it would have created a vacuum had I jumped on it anyway. And again, like, that was literally my, like, I can do this if that person takes my place. But that person had another place to take. Regardless, though, the person got to, get hired on, which is awesome. I love that for that individual. They deserve it. They've worked so hard. Yeah. I was like, wow, that 8-8 portal really was open for, like, a limited time only. But at the same time, too, like I said, I can't even be mad, because that was that was my contingency. It was like, oh, that person will, like, take over my spot, and then everything will be right in the world. And yeah. I guess what's the most interesting is, though, that everything worked out exactly how we thought it would in the beginning. Like, in the beginning, we were under the impression that we would be working as we're going to be working right now. But that wasn't going to happen because the person wasn't hired on, and because somebody else was in that position. But now everything is as it would have, everything is as we assumed it to be. So I don't know, it's just like, it's interesting how that worked out when it was so not going to happen, because of the conditions and because of where everybody sat on the board. But I don't know. Is there something in that? Maybe. Am I just rambling? Are these the rambles of a sleepy, sleepy, sleepy man? No. Yes and no. I don't know. It's funny how things have a way of working out and playing out. And I think that happened somewhere else too. I can't recall right now. But it was like there was an assumption, or there was it was pretty much laid out how something was going to happen, or what something was going to be. But because of present circumstance, that didn't, like, that wasn't the case, but something ended up happening. And then the thing that was thought or believed to occur or happen became whatever. And there were dominoes yesterday. I can't remember if the energy, yeah, it did. That's why it was the Four of Swords and the Princess of Pentacles. Because it was that, like, you've done everything that you needed to do. You are in position. There's something that someone else is going to do. And then when that happens, like, the stage will be set. Everything will be right for the following to occur. That did come out today. And it's like, it's stuff to do with other people. It's stuff to do with things that are not within our control. So and this almost, it goes back to, or how, like, faith, a strong enough faith can be a sword rather than a cup. Because then it becomes a knowing, or when faith becomes knowing, it's as strong and as mighty as the steel of a blade. But yeah, it's our intuition, it's our discernment, it's spirit that knows the happenings of everything, right? So it ends up working out in ways that we can't necessarily see with our own physical 3D eyes. So yeah, anyway. I hope y'all have an amazing whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting on limits to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I know. I am. And I was super hesitant for a minute because I was like, I kind of want to stay where I am. But I was like, and I don't know, it's just so funny because I was like, fine, you know what? Well, I was low key, like, if the opportunity is still there, then I'll take it. And I was ready to take it. And it was like, just kidding, psych. And I was like, wow. Excuse me. But also I love having 4 days off. And it gives me the opportunity to navigate my path in a way that's a little bit more intentional. But I actually need to like sit down. Like that'll be my problem sometimes. I'll be like, oh, I know I need to do this or I know I need to do that, but I never find or create the time to do. I don't want to say never. Previously, in a past version of me in my current incarnation, a past current life, I wouldn't do a lot of like the research or the stuff behind it to get the ball moving and to get the ball rolling. And I'm in this time of my life now where things are a little bit more self directed, meaning like it's for me to consider my options or consider it's like to feel out where I want to go and what I want to experience. And then to be open to receiving the opportunities that lead to that desired experience being my experience. And before now, I've been very like go with the flow, whatever comes up, like, but it's just for me to have a little bit more um, I don't know if like foresight or forethought is necessarily the word, or to be more proactive and engaged in the process. At least a little bit. So, excuse me, anyway, that was the rambly bit. Um, but yeah, I saw 8-8 today. So I was like, oh, I wonder, like, how this energy or how the portal closed out / how it's wrapping up and concluding. And according to the cards, it's doing so gorgeously. High priestess doesn't. The high priestess doesn't have anything more to say, nothing more to add. She was like, "Oh, okay, well, you got this, good." So because of that, though, I would say that something that came to completion within this past few weeks is going to be like it's going to be important to keep the momentum of something moving. Like if there's something that you've learned or something that you've done or witnessed or whatever within the past few weeks, if this reading resonates for you, then keep that in mind as you move forward. Or it's like the things that will be coming down the pike now are going to be playing off of, building upon whatever that was. And then I had another thought, but I lost. Oh yeah, because was that the first prophecy? Or was that before the first prophecy? I think it was the first prophecy where it was like, yeah, it was, because that was the first time I used the good tarot. It was like, since the last Virgo season, there's something that we've successfully concluded and moved beyond or graduated from or whatever. before we've even reached this Virgo season. And so by the time Virgo season comes, it's like, I don't know. Oh, that's the blue moon, isn't it? It's going to be a full moon Pisces, blue moon Virgo season. And that'll be like 2 days after my half birthday. Because my half birthday is on the 28th, and I think that's on like the 30th. It is going to be a Pisces full moon. And Pisces, like the Pisces Virgo axis came out for something that I did, I think a few months ago now. I felt like it was like June. Because it was what, the Hermit and the Hangman, or the Hermit and the Moon, and then some other card. And I was like, what's this about Pisces Virgo? So, yeah. All right. I'm really going to go to bed this time. Good night. I mean, good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever, whenever.